that and rule the world. And so delighted I can play some Take That this morning. And we're talking about the band, the musical. Now, you might remember from last year the BBC TV show Let It Shine, which was looking to create a boy band for a musical based on the music of Take That. Does that make sense? Yes? They kind of call them jukebox musicals these days, don't they? Well, I'm delighted to say that musical is at the Theatre Royal in Plymouth, started last night, and we've got some of the cast with me this morning. Morning, all.
Morning.
Oh, that's very harmonious. We've got Curtis, who's one of 5 to 5, the boy band. Morning. Rachel, and you play the character Rachel, older Rachel, so that's nice and easy. And Faye, who's young Rachel.
Hi.
Hi, good morning to you all. So first of all, I suppose we have to start with you, Curtis. What made you decide you wanted to go on kind of a reality TV show to be part of this musical?
Well, I mean, the big draw was I saw a commercial on TV. The Gary Barlow was sat at a piano with a mask of Gary Barlow on, and then he took the mask off, and it was still Gary Barlow. So it was like, I'd love to go and audition for him, and hopefully show him some of my music because I'm a songwriter. And went to Manchester to the audition, and it kind of all steamrolled from there.
Oh, really? And do you like Take That's music? Are you a fan?
No. Yeah, of course.
I'll tell him that.
No, I have already. But when I was young,
how did he react to that?
He knew I was joking. My older siblings are quite familiar with like the first half of Take That's career, and then when they came back with Patience, that's kind of more my era. So I remember the Beautiful World album, being at the gym and listening to that, and I took my mum to the Progress tour, so it's all very like,
I went to the Progress tour.
Yeah,
yes.
it was
I think I
amazing.
took my mum to it, actually, the Progress tour. Isn't that funny? Small world. But one of the things, though, as well, about Take That is people weren't really sure, were they, about this TV show, what the musical was going to be like.
Yeah.
Did you ever imagine, though, when you first applied, that you would end up being in it?
Oh, absolutely not. No, I don't think anyone thinks when they enter that sort of show that they're going to win. You do it with the best intentions. But I mean, it's nothing like I imagined it would be in a really positive way. There's a lot more work and a lot more kind of professional nature. I didn't realise I'd be travelling, to 30, 40 places, and we've already done 250 something shows now.
Have you already? Wow.
So we've travelled, and the reception's been so good. We've had a lot of sold out shows, and the fans at stage door, and it's kind of this whole world within a world, and I didn't know I'd be going into that in this way.
And that's the thing as well, as you're saying, fans waiting at the door. Your merchandise is really popular, isn't it? You've got these bands. You've got these bands that you can buy, kind of bracelets, haven't you? And they're apparently selling out nearly, aren't they? At a lot of these, when people going to the theatre as well.
Yeah, obviously I'm not going to give anything away about the story, but there's quite a symbolic thing of these bands, and I'm sure it will completely make sense if you come see it.
Yeah, well, there we are then. So we'll talk a little bit more in a moment, but obviously we'll speak to Rachel, who's.
You don't want to speak to her.
Faye, no, let's ignore Faye as well. Because ladies, this musical, it's basically the band are performing in it, but it centres on kind of friendship, doesn't it? And Rachel and Faye, you are kind of I think Faye, we see you at the beginning because it's when the girls are young and they love this band, and then we see you later, Rachel. So it's got an emotional kind of storyline to it as well as the music, hasn't it?
Faye? Yeah, it does. I'm on for the first, almost half of the show, and then Rachel comes on. But it's lovely to tell the story with the 4 other girls. But it is quite emotional. We forget sometimes how emotional it is. But yeah, it's lovely to tell the story, and it's kind of based on a true story. So to tell that every night, we get people who do come to the stage door to say, I had a friend who was like you, or this, that, and the other, and it's quite heartwarming to hear what they have to say, because it's like you've lived their life. So.
And music does bring people together, doesn't it? When I was growing up and going to concerts with friends and things, it's something. It just for 1 minute you're all united, aren't you? Because you love that one artist. Are you finding that with the show, the music is bringing everyone together again?
Yes, sorry, it's Rachel, the old Rachel.
A really old Rachel.
Oh, we're talking about that. I remember take that from the very beginning.
So
That's
do
quite
I.
frightening.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, I think we are. We're finding that music really does bring people together. And one of the things Tim Firth, our writer, said that, and is so true, is when we've got 2,000-seater or 2,500-seater auditoriums that we're playing to every night, and each song that is sung by the boys means something totally different to each person that's in there. So it could have been played at their wedding, it could have been at the birth of their first child, it could have been at a funeral, it could have been at a festival they were at and something significant happened to them at that time. So it's something different for every single person who's in there, including the cast. Each song that's in there means something very different to all of us. And I think that sort of totally comes across when we're doing the show. So it's beautiful to think that each person is out there is thinking something different when that song is sung, but also that they're watching the show at the same time, and maybe they will now see it, and that song will remind them of a show as opposed to a moment that happened in their life. Who knows? But music really does bring people together, yeah.
And is this the moment I reveal that actually I played Rule the World? That was my first wedding song with my husband 8 years ago. So it means something to me as well.
Yeah.
And I played as well when my little boys were born a couple of years ago, that song. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's exactly what he means, yeah.
you'll start me off in a moment.
Oh,
I'm imagining one of the songs, I'm hoping it's going to be in it because I want to play it in a minute, Never Forget. Is that one does that get people going in the show? Do they kind of turn it into a bit of a mini concert as well?
Yes, it isn't. I mean, Never Forget is absolutely an anthem of Take That, as well as Shine, to be fair. But I think if it wasn't in there, like with Rule the World, there'd be a bit of a breakdown at stage door if it wasn't in there.
Yes.
Yeah, but absolutely, the minute it's on, you can see people desperate to put their arms in the air, and at the end we allow you to do that. But there are certain shows where the first time it's used in conjunction with another song, that we sort of say wait a minute, and then at the end we absolutely say okay, now you can absolutely join in, and people are literally jumping out of their seats to do it, so it's great.
And we must mention your director, because it's directed by Jack Ryder, who many people might recognise the name. He was Jamie Mitchell in EastEnders, but he's doing a lot of, he's more theatre work now. What's it been like working with him?
It's been great.
No one wants to talk about it.
No,
we love Jack. Jack's amazing, and I've learnt a lot from him as well. And yeah, he's just so easygoing, but he's got a real he knows exactly how the show he wants it to be, and he worked really close with Kim Gavin and also Tim Firth. So it's become this epic performance, and he always comes in now and again to see how we are and how the show's going, and he's just a really lovely guy. Yeah, it's great to work with him.
That does sound nice as well. And I suppose being on the tour is, you spent so long together, all of you, rehearsing and things. Was it kind of a bit surreal when you actually ended up starting the tour?
Yes, I mean, Faye and I were on board long before the boys, before Let It Shine. So we actually were going to the live shows to see Let It Shine, and 5 to 5 were our favourites. We were like, please God, let them win, because they were absolutely our favourites. So we were going to all of these live shows each week, seeing people eliminated, thinking, God, please don't let it be them, because they'd be ideal for the show. So with being on tour for so long, we're over 9 months in now, even though we had a little break in between, and then we've got another little break coming up in the summer, and then we start over again right through until next March. So you don't think about the impact that has initially. I mean, both Faye and I have toured before, so you kind of know what to expect, but at the same time, not a tour of this length. Or a tour of this size, effectively. It is a huge show to move every 2 weeks, and we do have the most phenomenal crew that do this with us every week, and hat off to them really getting this in 2 days, because it's vast. And I think it's important not to sort of see this as just 16 people on stage. There are 43 of us that make this a company, and without all of us, it very much is a company piece.
Absolutely. Now we're going to hear a little bit more from you, but we have to play some Take That, I think, don't we?
Yeah, of course.
Let's
You
do
can
it.
play Boyzone if you want, it's fine.
Could do, couldn't I? That's a good suggestion. It's Tiffany Truscott here on BBC Radio Cornwall. 7 minutes to 12. We're talking to Curtis, Faye and Rachel, some of the cast from the Band musical, which is at the Theatre Royal in Plymouth at the moment, based on the music of Take That. And I must just mention, guys, we've had a text from Annie in Penzance, I think she is, and she said she's off to see the musical tomorrow. Looking forward to it. She booked her tickets last September, and so they were selling so fast. She said that she's lucky to get them, so she can't wait for that. And are you finding that a lot of people have booked their tickets in advance to come and see this show?
Oh, way in advance. Yeah, we're one of the fastest selling UK tours of all time, actually.
And you had a big launch, didn't you? You're going to be in the West End for a few weeks as well, aren't you? You're looking forward to that?
Yeah, 50 shows in the West End.
Wow,
we get a lot of fans online on Twitter and stuff who have booked so far in advance, and there's a lot of people who come regularly, so like we see similar faces across the whole tour, which is quite comforting.
Well, that is nice, isn't it? A bit like, in the old days, groupies following bands around, actually. And one thing I must mention, I went onto the Theatre Royal's website, www.theatreroyal.com, for people that want tickets, and you're there till Saturday, next Saturday, the 26th. It says, please note, Take That will not be performing in this production. But I do know from following, obviously, slightly obsessively Take That on Twitter and things, they have turned up at some performances, haven't they, to watch? Some of the band have.
They do. They're quite sweet the way they do that. Sometimes they'll want to come and perform, so they come on and do the finale with us as a surprise. Nobody really knows that they're coming, so we do keep it as a surprise, although one of our producers sometimes releases it, he thinks discreetly, on Twitter, but it's not.
Like he gives like a little subtle clue.
Yes, but it's and for people who are there when they're on, it's an unbelievable experience. The noise, it's the very first time they came on, it was louder than a jet plane taking off. One of our sound department said that was louder than a jet plane taking off.
Wow.
So it's an unbelievable experience to be there for that. But sometimes they come along and they sit in a box, or they lie on the floor in a box so they can listen to the show. And Mark loves standing in the wings and watching.
Does that put you off at all?
It used to. Now we just sort of, if we know they're in, we kind of know he's going to skirt around the wings and have a watch. But all the crew tend to wear black backstage, but Mark tends to be in a very cream coat, standing in the wings, so you can't help but see him. And also his smile, you can't help but see his smile. He loves watching. He absolutely loves watching Shine in the wings, and it's beautiful. And to sort of see him there, and he's there for about 3 or 4 scenes before, and you can just sense him out the corner of your eye, and you think, okay. But sometimes they lie down in the box upstairs so they can listen to it, and I think it's a really special thing for them. It's I don't think, that's what they've said, they never saw their work being done in this way, so it started to mean something completely different to them now.
And do you think it's probably, people that weren't fans of the music of Take That maybe are going to come and see the musical, it might kind of change their opinion on the music as well?
Yeah, we get a lot of people that come to the show who necessarily weren't Take That fans, but then they've turned around and been like, really like their music, but then they also realise about the story and how the music fits in with the storyline, and they've just had a really good time.
Oh, and it sounds like you're all having a good time. You're in Plymouth for a few days now. Are you going to kind of do any sightseeing, or are you just too busy doing the shows at the moment?
I think we'll all go to the gin distillery. That's the one place we've really got on the book.
Nothing like it.
Bit of gin. No, the gin distillery, darling. Yeah, no, we're not going to see any gin at all. No. We're going to do a small workout with a small gin and tonic in our hand. Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Will you be able to cross the Thames, come to Cornwall to have a Cornish pasty, maybe?
Oh,
potentially.
That'd be nice. Next week, the first week is a no-go because we have too many shows. But maybe next week for sure. Yeah, would be nice. It would be nice to. One of the beauties of touring is that you can get to see some places that you wouldn't normally. So, yeah, it would be nice to be able to do that.
Oh, well, it's been wonderful to speak
to you. You want to send a car for us, darling? Absolutely, that'd be lovely.
I'll drive you myself. I'll get a charabang together. Lovely to speak to you. So you're at the Theatre Royal in Plymouth. Tickets, I think they're the odd 1 or 2 available. But until the 26th of May, have a wonderful time.
Thank you so much.
I'll try and get there if I can, because I love Take That. Tell them I love them. Thank you. Lovely to speak to you.
Tiffany.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Faye, Curtis and Rachel from the band musical. It does sound like it's going to be fantastic if you're heading to see it at the Theatre Royal in Plymouth. And even if you're not a fan of Take That, then you might be persuaded to change your mind.